Hello, thank you for joining this video. Here we'll explore the events calendar section for your Shopify store. So first of all, we need to go to our theme customizer. And once we're here, we need to choose the page where we'd like the section to be displayed. Keep in mind that you can actually add the section to any page that you'd prefer. But for our example, let's stay here on the home page. So once we're chosen the page, now we need to scroll down here to the add section. So we click here and we need to find our section. So here it is. We have the events calendar section added. So now let's take a look. And here it is. So first of all, we need to click on the section itself. And what we can do from here. First of all, we can change the heading. So right now it's named events. You can of course change it to like events calendar or check out our events or upcoming events. So just feel free to write any text that you want in here. So next we have the link label, we have the view all. So for example, if you have more than 3 events here, if you have plenty of events and you don't want to show all of them here, you just want your clients to have the ability to click somewhere and go to view all of your events, then in such case, we can add the link here. So for example, let's say that all of your events are listed in your blog. So we have blogs here. Let's add the blog, and now as you can see we have the view all button, by clicking on which it will lead us to this blog here. So next we can also add the load more button. So once again, if we have plenty of events here but we don't want to show all of them, we can just add the load more button. So right now we have the count of events to show set to 3. The maximum that you can add is 10, but in our example we have maximum 3 events to be shown in here. So we actually have only 3 events in this section. So let's go ahead and add more events. So we now have 6 events added. And now as you can see, we get the load more button. You don't actually have any limitation on the number of events to display. Just feel free to add as many as you need. And whenever you need to remove the event, you just click on it and click on remove block. So let's return to the settings of our section. So as you can see, we have this load more button and we've set the count of events to show 3. You can of course increase it, for example, up to 4 events. But for our example, let's remove it back to 3. And you can also rename this button. So for example, like view all events. Just feel free to write anything that you want in here. And after that, we have the show border button. So as you can see, all our events are separated by this border. So if you don't want to have it, you can just simply click here, and then all of our events will not be separated by these borders. So if you want to have the border, feel free to mark here. And lastly, in this section settings, we have the layout. So we have the desktop and mobile offsets. So offsets are this spacing between the section. So if you want to have some space between the sections, you can of course set it, or you can decrease it, or contrary to that, you can increase this spacing. Same for the top. You can also do the same for the bottom, as well as for mobile. So we can, for example, increase it here. And now let's take a look at these offsets from the mobile point of view. So as you can see, we've here increased the spacing for the mobile, and it's way bigger than in the desktop section. So feel free to modify it to whatever suits you the most. And now let's go and customize our events. So first of all, we click on event here, and the first thing that we can do is add the image. So just click here and you can add any image that you prefer. So for example, let's add this one. And now that we have the image, as you can see, we have the date in the right top corner of our image. And for the events that don't have any image, as you can see, it stays as the same. So next we have the heading, so it's the event name. So for example, you can rename it to however you've named your event. So for example, let's say we have like a pop-up shop. You can rename this event to whatever suits you the most. And next we have the text here. So as you can see, we have this text. You can of course add even more text. So let's just add some more information in here. And you can actually link these text. You can link the whole of the text. You can just insert the link, or you can, for example, take only a portion of this text or one word and you can insert link. You can add the external link. Just for this, keep in mind that you need to add a link in full with HTTP, or you can click here and choose one of your internal links, like for example, one of your maybe blog posts, maybe your blogs, or if you want it to be the external link, for example, to read more about your event or maybe your collaborations, feel free to add any link in here. And as you can see, we have this text and we have this clickable text in here. So next we have the link label for read more. So of course we don't want to type in the whole information about our upcoming event in here. So for example, let's imagine that we have a dedicated blog post to our event and you just added like a short portion of the text in here, and we can have this read more button by clicking on which the clients will be able to go to this blog post to read more. So we have the link label name read more, and here we can add the link URL. Just click on it here. You can of course add the external link as well, but for our example, let's add the blog post. So here is our blog post that we've added, and we have the link label here. As you can see, it says read more, or you can rename it to anything that you'd prefer. So next we also have the link location label. So the name of that button will be event location, or once again, feel free to rename it. And we can also add the URL. So as you can see, we can add the, again, internal link to your maybe like blog post or whatever, or you can add the link if you have like a web seminar, for example. If it's online, you can add the Zoom or Google Meet link, for example, or if it is an offline event, then you can of course add the link to the restaurant or hotel, or for example, we can go to Google Maps and you can just pinpoint at the point of your actual event. Then we click on share and copy link, and now we have the link that will lead us to this point on Google Maps. So here in the link location URL, we just add the link. Here it is, and now we'll have the event location label here. Okay, so next we have the day, month, and time. So here you can just simply change the date, the month. You can write it in full or you can shorten it, and we can also add the time. So just feel free to write down the date and time that you need. So as you can see, we've entered these dates, and now let's save our changes. And now let's go ahead and add the second event. So first of all, we add the image. So just choose any image that you'd prefer. So we have this image here. Next, we can once again rename our event. We can also change the text. So as you can see, we can add this like clickable text. We can just leave it as it is. Just write the short information about your upcoming event. Then we can also add the read more label, and don't forget to add the blog post, for example. And we can also add the link URL location. We have the label event location. We can also choose like any location that we want. For example, just let's click here. Once again, we click on share and copy link. Now let's add this link in here. And we can also change the date. So for example, we can enter it like this. And now let's save our changes. So as you can see here, we have the two examples with the pictures. And here, for example, let's leave this one, the third one, without any picture. Let's just also add the event location. So we have this information here. We can add the read more. We can also add the blog post, for example, for this third one. We can also add the link in here as well. And we can also add any date that we'd prefer. So for example, let's add it here. And now, as you can see, our third event also has the event location, the read more button. We've also changed the date, but when we don't have any picture for the event, then as you can see, the date stays here. While when we add the picture, the date moves to the right top corner. So now let's save the changes, and let's also take a look at how the section would look like on the mobile version. So we click here on the mobile. Let's scroll to our event calendar. As you can see, we have the view all button that leads us to the blog. We also have the picture, the date, the name, the text, and read more button, which leads us to the blog post, event location, and the time here. This section looks exactly the same, and here is the section without the picture. So we just simply have the date, the name, the info, and read more and event location. So now that we've saved our changes, let's take a look at this section from our store. So once we go to our store here, let's now scroll down to our section. Here it is, and here, as you can see, when we click here, we go to that link, and when we click on the event location, we go to the Google Maps here. We can also click on view all, and we'll see the blog. And we can also click on read more, and it will lead us to this blog post that we've added to this button. And with this one here, as you can see, we don't have the picture, so we simply have the date here. We also have the read more button, and we also have the event location. So once we click here, we go to the Google Maps. And also we have this button to view all events. So as you can see, we have only 3 events per section here, but when we click, we see the rest of our events. So keep in mind that if you don't like the order of these events, you can just simply click here and toggle it. And now, as you can see, we have this event moved up here. So just feel free to change the order of your events, for example. As you can see, we've added it like this. You can also hide the events from here. So as you can see, we've hidden that event, or you can just simply go here and remove the block altogether. And you can also hide the actual section, for example. So here, as you can see, when we hide it, we don't see this section anymore. Or we can just click here and toggle this section to whatever suits us the best. Just don't forget to save all of your changes. And this is it. This is how you set up the event calendar section. If you have any questions, feel free to contact our support team. We're always here to help. Thank you very much for your time. Take care. Bye.